Today, I want to talk about one of the most important cars ever produced. It's an underdog that has risen the ranks to dominate rallying, racing, pop culture, and is even credited with developing a motorsport all of its own. From humble beginnings in 1983, it has now become today one of the most desired and treasured Japanese hero cars of all time. It's the Toyota Corolla AE86 Hachi-Roku! The AE86, fondly referred to as Hachi-Roku, or 86 in Japanese, was produced for 4 years from 1983 to 1987 when it was succeeded by the AE90. And this little rocket came in two different versions. There was the Trueno, which is a liftback with pop-up headlights. And Trueno in Españolo translates to thunder, signifying its power and presence. And there was also a Coupe with a flat headlight front, like this car, that they called Levin. And Levin translates into lightning, striking quickly and precisely. Thunder, lightning, very clever. Although over 360,000 of these were produced in Japan for the global, worldwide market, they're pretty hard to come by in good shape these days because most of them have either been clutch kicked into trees, binned in the Royal National Park, or left to rot in people's backyard in formative years when they weren't worth as much money. It's kind of a shame when you think about it. And only 15 years ago, you could pick up something super neat just like this for around $15,000. But as these cars have hit cult status in the last couple of decades, and as the Takumi tax has taken hold, you're looking at somewhere between 30, 40, even 50 grand, depending on the spec and what kind of bits are on it. Its popularity in motorsports applications really came down to quite a simple recipe. It was rear-wheel drive, it had 50-50 near-perfect weight distribution, it had a lightweight chassis, and it had a 4-cylinder twin-cam 1600cc engine that loved to rev. And they were pretty cheap to buy at the time as well. For the very same reasons, it was also coveted by Japanese street racers, where the tight twists and turns of the Japanese mountain passes were a perfect fit for its agile handling and nimble chassis. It was on those fertile grounds on the Toge where the AE86 story really started getting interesting. A young fella by the name of Keiichi Tsuchiya, aka the Drift King, was credited, no, not credited, he created the sport that we know today as drifting. He was fascinated by rally driving and the art of maintaining the grip of the car right at its very limit, and the AE86 was his weapon of choice. He discovered that drifting enabled him to rotate the car through the tight corners of the Toge and maintain speed through those corners as well, while exhibiting a little bit of artistic flair. In the late 80s, he then had a team follow him around so he could document the different kinds of drifting techniques. We know that video today as the Drift Bible. The Drift Bible led to Hot Version, and Hot Version inevitably led to Initial D. The Initial D story follows a young tofu delivery driver by the name of Bukaki, who accidentally becomes a hero of the local Mount Akina Toge, driving his father's race-prepared Toyota AE86 Corolla, eventually chopping much higher performance and faster cars through the bends. If you think his dad with a race-prepped AE86 sounds like a cool guy, he wasn't. He was a sex pest alcoholic that beat his son with a stick. Anyway, RX-7s, Evos, even GTRs were no match for Bukaki and his Lightfoot NA-powered AE86 through the corners. Off the pages of manga and into reality comes this, Stewart's 1986 Toyota Corolla Levin GT Apex Edition. Fuck, that was a mouthful. Looking at it from all angles, from its original paint and panel, its completely original and uncracked dashboard, an immaculate front end, and perfect headlights, I think from afar, we'd all have to agree that this has to be one of Australia's finest. But up close, it's even more impressive. Now, what I love most about this car, firstly, is the painfully accurate attention to detail. It's got this period correct Nardi steering wheel, these SSR Longchamps with ceramic center caps, the electric east bear mirrors, the reconditioned and rebolstered Recaro SR3s, these OEM Levin door visors. This stereo is completely original, and even though it doesn't actually work, there's a Bluetooth module behind the dashboard. The volume knob still controls the volume.
Give me back my son!
And the second thing that I love most is, although it kind of looks unassuming, there's a wealth of performance gear under the skin that means this thing stops, turns, and slides with the best of them. The modifications include, it's got Willwood 4-piston brake calipers at the front and a disc brake rear end. A TRD two-way LSD at the back, carbing 3-point strut brace at the front, AGX coilovers front and Bilstein shocks at the rear. But under the bonnet, this is my favorite. This is a later model small port 4AGE out of a later model Corolla from Japan. It came with a ported and polished head and some mystery cams. We're not quite sure what they are. And the best bit, and the thing that makes all that glorious noise, is these silvertop quad throttle bodies that you can see he runs without any air filters. What a mad. And there's a Haltech Elite under the hood getting all the thinking done. Now this, it looks like a proper garage queen, doesn't it? Well, I promise you, it's not. The owner of this thing drives this thing in anger, like it overcooked a steak. He throttles it like it owes him money, probably because it does. I bet you're wondering what it's like to drive. Well, shall we find out? Driving modern cars, you feel so detached from what's going on. You can't feel much. You certainly can't hear much, and there's just gadgets everywhere distracting you from what's going on. This is the antithesis. This is the opposite of that. Every one of your senses is just assaulted. I can feel every undulation in the road, every bump. I can smell the fuel and the uncatalyzed exhaust. This engine just loves to spin, and every vibration just tingles my sausage. But most of all, my ears are ringing with the sounds, the glorious sounds of induction. Let me play you the sounds of my people. It's a Pavarotti singing. A Japanese Pavarotti. This is character. This is what's missing from modern cars. When I bark at it, it barks back at me. Ruff, ruff, ruff. That's what makes this car and ones like it so special. Character, analog, mechanical, engaging, involving. Driver's cars. I hope you liked the video. If you did like it, share it with someone else who you think would also enjoy it. Finally, I need more cars to drive. So if you live somewhere in Sydney, you're willing to throw me the keys to your pride and joy for a day, I promise I'll look after it. But let me know. Get at me on the socials at Fred Sledgeshed on Instagram, TikTok, Pornhub. So I might leave you now with a few of the driving scenes without me talking at you. You might like that. Hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next one. Had to do it to him. Well, I don't know what to say. What a special, special car. This is really special.